Lejeune Memorial Gardens, Jacksonville, NC. A collection of monuments greets visitors outside the Marine Corps' base camp Lejeune. The newest addition, the Montford Point Marine Memorial, honors African-American Marines who trained at a segregated camp during World War II. Other areas include the nation's second-largest Vietnam War memorial, a beam from the World Trade Center, and a site devoted to the 1983 Beirut bombing that killed more than 240 service members. It reflects the devastating loss we suffered, Dickerson says. Jacksonville.gov. USS Alabama Battleship Memorial Park, Mobile, Alabama. Stretching longer than 2 football fields, this World War II battleship today welcomes visitors to explore its deck, guns, machinery and bunks. Home to 2,500 sailors, it won numerous battle commendations and led the American fleet into Tokyo Bay as the war ended. Thousands of sailors lived and fought there, Dickerson says. People have to understand, it wasn't just a ship, it was home. The park also has the World War II USS Drum submarine. isalabama.com. USS Arizona Memorial, Honolulu. Dickerson was moved the first time he visited the site, where more than 1,000 sailors died during the 1941 Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor. If you want to cry, go to Arizona, Dickerson says. It's an entombment site. NPS.gov. Valor, National Museum of the Marine Corps, Triangle, Virginia. Much more than a memorial, this interactive museum tells the story of the Marines, letting visitors try on a backpack and experience what it's like to have a drill sergeant yelling in their ear. Families and new Marines go there to reflect on history. There's a section for every place Marines fought on the globe, Dickerson says. ismcmuseum.com. Soldiers National Cemetery, Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. The military cemetery, established after the 1863 Civil War Battle of Gettysburg, is most famous for its dedication. It's here that Abraham Lincoln offered his Gettysburg Address, recognizing the fallen as martyrs and not mere casualties of war. We should never forget history for the fear that we'll repeat the same mistakes, Dickerson says. Although officials did their best to identify the dead, hundreds of graves remain marked as unknown. NPS.gov. Get. Alamo, San Antonio. Although the soldiers were fighting for the Republic of Texas, not the United States, Dickerson is moved by this former mission, where fighters were trapped in 1836. It was overwhelming odds, and they were cut off and hoping for rescue, he says. The Alamo ended up being a rallying cry. Today, Texans consider the site a shrine to liberty and hallowed ground. Alamo.org. Minuteman National Historical Park, Concord, Massachusetts. The nation's military history traces back to Boston, where the opening battle of the Revolutionary War was fought. Lexington was the first shot, Dickerson says. This is where we broke away from England. The park schedules guided tours and musket demonstrations, bringing the events to life. NPS.gov. Mima, Normandy, France. As a military commander, Dickerson was humbled by the Normandy coast, where more than 100,000 American and Allied troops landed on D-Day in 1944. You try to think how you could motivate anyone to walk into a wall of steel and lead put up by the Germans and take the high ground, he says. You stand in awe of what they did. Today military cemeteries offer silent tribute to the sacrifice. ABM.gov. Fort Rosecrans National Cemetery, San Diego. While military installations line the California coast, Dickerson suggests a visit to San Diego and its scenic cemetery overlooking the ocean. You have a significant Navy presence. It's a stepping-off point for the Pacific, he says. Memorials at the burial grounds remember the World War II Philippines Battle off Samar, one of the largest naval engagements in history. San Diego.org. Vietnam Veterans Memorial, Washington. While there's no shortage of monuments in our nation's capital, Dickerson suggests a visit to this wall, etched with names of more than 58,000 service members who died in the conflict. It's very moving. I had a lot of friends who went to Vietnam, and I see their names. It's where a lot of veterans go to bring closure. NPS.gov. 25. Delaware Water Gap National Recreation Area. 3,677,744 paddlers slipped down the river between low forested mountains. Anglers wade the trout streams. Hikers scan the valley from the ridge or peer into the 1,000-foot deep water gap. The 70,000-acre park of Delaware Water Gap National Recreation Area in New Jersey and Pennsylvania welcomes those who seek the outdoors close to home. This photo includes 2 baby bears spotted at the park. Keith R. Frerich's www.sharethexperience.org